Women's empowerment is the process in which women elaborate and recreate what it is that they can do and accomplish in a circumstance that they previously were denied. With a lot of corporates, it is often that women are being overlooked from a high-level position. The head of reputation, Tshidi Ramogase, and as well as talent manager Lerato Radebe of Coca-Cola. And Tshidi Ramogase, as I mentioned, the public affairs director, join us now this morning to share more on the programs introduced within their organization to help endow women. Ladies, a very good morning and a warm welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, Tshidi, I'm going to start with you. Why is women empowerment so important?
Well, I think, just if you look at demographics, women still make the majority of the population in the country. That's number one. Number two, we truly believe that if you empower a woman, you empower a nation. It's a cliche, but it is true. Yeah. For us in particular, if you think of our organizations, FMCG, typically a male environment, and unless you do something deliberate from a leadership point of view to address that, you will never make any progress. So if we are going to be serious about empowering women, we have got to make sure that the environment allows for such.
And the current status quo in corporates such as yours, it flies in the face of efforts of empowering women. How do you ensure that that you make people understand that you are for the empowerment of women?
Most people will say, if leadership is not committed, nothing would happen. I think for us as an organization, we are fortunate because we've got a leader, Mr. Vela, who truly believes in it. Through his efforts, 2 years ago, we launched a program we call Women at SABC. And it's really a program that's meant to give women the space to lead themselves, to address issues that are of concerns for them. You can't wait for people to make an environment work for you. You have got to take the space and make it work for you. And if you look at the initiatives we've put in place, they include what is it in the workplace that is not conducive to women empowerment. So we've had to relook at some of our policies, be looked at by women like Lerato, not by men. So we have defined what a conducive work environment is for ourselves as women. And for a manufacturing facility, some things we take for granted. For example, we never used to have lactation room for ladies, but we employ them. So when they come back from maternity leave, what's supposed to happen? So we've changed that. We've put those in place. We're looking at working options. We have women working from home, women working from different offices close to home, taking Fridays off, leaving a little early to be able to empower, to take care of their families. Of course, we are a manufacturing facility. Not everybody can do that. So our ladies that work night shift, what's important for us is that when they are at home and when they are off, they have support that they need.
Yeah. Lerato, it's often said that women are being punished for being female, hence they are subjected to some of the hurdles in terms of empowerment. And just what are some of the principles of women empowerment that every corporate, that every organization, every civic organization or government should take heed of, take a particular heed of?
Simpura, I think Tshidi mentioned a few things, but the environment needs to be enabling. We need to acknowledge that women do make a difference. And when you look at statistics, it tells you that operations or corporates where women are leaders really profitability of those organizations is quite high. So from a leadership perspective, we need to understand that gender representation is very important. And when women come into an environment, we need to make sure that they are fully equipped. They have the skills and competencies to be able to deliver on their work and definitely not to be punished for being a woman. When Tshidi indicated earlier on in terms of some of the processes that we have put in place, from a policy perspective, from a process perspective, but line managers and employees alike need to be encouraged or be able to be resourced to be able to deliver on what the organization needs.
And so many women are actually not aware of some of the opportunities that are presented in such an environment as this one. So how do you make sure that women are fully aware and cognizant of these opportunities and fully embrace them?
The role of women is changing or has changed. So what that means is that, opportunities are available, especially in the bottling industry, in companies like ourselves. So the role of a woman, from a traditional position perspective, it has shifted. So in our environment, we are always looking for great women in the manufacturing space. And here we're talking about those technical roles that were previously deemed to be male-dominated roles. Right. In the sales environment, we have roles ranging from account managers, sales managers. In the logistics, these are roles which were previously occupied by men, like your stock management roles, your distribution specialist, and your fleet roles. So those roles is where we are encouraging women to step forward and be able to take charge.
I think just want to add one thing. For me, what has been an eye-opener, if I can put it that way, is that once you put a woman in a role where they wouldn't have previously occupied, you start seeing changes happen. So recently, about 18 months ago, we appointed a logistics director, and he's a female. And within a short space of time, we started seeing a lot of changes in that space. So this is a woman who ordinarily wouldn't be in that role and now has a better understanding of what it will take to get women involved. So since then, you asked how do we make people aware. So we're running now a leadership program for women drivers for trucks, right? It's not a kind of career where you typically see women. We've got about 13 of them today. We've got about 10 of them in the program. And exclusively going forward, when we have opportunities there, we are deliberately just targeting women. So you have to be deliberate to go seek them. But once you have them, you have to understand that you have to make the environment supportive.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the important thing is that first have the women in the leadership positions, in the decision-making positions, because once they are there, then hopefully they bring other women along. And for me, that's what I've seen happen. You know, they say empowered women empower other women. And we really see that in our business on a daily basis.
I mean, speaking of ensuring that the environment is very supportive for women, do you get a sense that women understand the power that they have to make changes, to make things work in the environment that they work in the workspace, at home, at political leadership positions?
I think they do. I mean, it's funny because we're talking with some of my friends, we're talking about how important it is as a woman to own your power.
Yes.
And we have subtle power and we also have overt power, right?
Yes.
So if you look at the workplace, for me, I think the most challenging thing for women is to stop seeing themselves first as women, but first as human beings. Nothing stops you to achieve and get what you want, because first and foremost, you're a human being. Once you are in there and you realize there are things that are inhibiting for you, set the environment that is supportive. You know, I'm a working woman, my husband is a working husband. Both we have to make a plan, and at home we put supportive structures to make sure that it works. But also plan your time accordingly. You know, if I think of the impact that I get to do in my personal life, just with the young people that I mentor, with the church environment that you get to participate in. But once in the workplace, with the humility and the understanding that women bring in the work environment that is not necessarily ego-driven, I think it's a character that brings forth collaboration and really makes changes in the workplace.
Right, and just picking up on what Tshidi has said, you know, some of the cultural nuances have failed women, such as submission, women submitting to men. How do you think that has played out in their various facets of their lives, such as in the business or in the workplace?
Well, Simpiwe, when you think about how we've been groomed as women, to your point, naturally we're supposed to be submissive. But I guess you need to really understand what that definition means and what that means in the workplace. I mean, how we interpret it is around, you know, the values that we drive in the organization, about being humble, you know, about taking accountability, about respect. And that's what we see as submission. That doesn't take away from you as a woman leader to be able to step up and deliver what is expected of you. And when you do that, when you submit and you are humble and you treat others with dignity and respect, you are sure to have a lot of followers in the organization. And ultimately, from a culture perspective, that is what we are all about. We are about inclusion and diversity, but in that, we are really humble and, you know, proud about the organization that we work for.
I guess that is where the problem is, because people tend to misconstrue respecting and humbling yourself as a submission.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we wouldn't allow that. I mean, so what is interesting about our business is that the MD I've alluded to, you know, he says, I've got daughters. So first and foremost, I'm a father. So to want to come in a workplace and want to treat women differently, it's a disservice. I was raised by a single mother. I am married to a woman which I respect. So I think we put these compartments in our lives. And for me, I truly don't believe that you can be a great father to a girl child, but be a horrible boss to a women follower in the workplace. You know, so first and foremost, it starts with your own personal value system. And as an organization, we have to hold people accountable. If we are saying that we want to empower women, we cannot afford to have men that then do not believe in that. So I look at my leadership team. For the longest while, I was the only female on the team. Not once did I ever feel that I'm a winner. Of course, now and then when they help me carry my bags because they're too big and heavy and we're traveling. But generally, I am measured at the same level. I am expected to deliver the same. And therefore, it's for me to step up and ensure that I deliver when I have the opportunity.
Just in closing, how do we get more information on the women empowerment initiatives that you're currently working on?
You can send an email address and send it to myself, Tshidi, Ramogase, at ccbsa group.com.
Please say that again.
Ramogase at ccbagroup.com. ccb.co.za.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you so much for
Thank you.
gonna...
And another way of people, how they can get hold of us is accessing our careers by going on to www.ccbsaco.com and clicking on the careers page.
Please say that again,
www.ccbsaco.com.
Okay.
.com.
All right. We appreciate your time, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
We just spoke to talent manager Lerato Radebe of Coca-Cola and Tshidi Ramogase, who is the Public Affairs and Communications Director, on the importance of affording women in corporate companies the same opportunities as men and empowering them. This is Morning Live. We take a short break.